The Senate convenes a Sara Duterte's impeachment trial court amid rumors of yet another power shakeup. The Office of the Solicitor General asks the Supreme Court to reject Senator Bato de la Rosa's plea to block the International Criminal Court's arrest warrant. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. chooses a former UP assistant professor as the new budget chief. US President Donald Trump says Chinese President Xi Jinping agreed Tehran must reopen the Strait of Hormuz. And jailed journalist Frenchie Cumpio wins the Annenberg Justice for Women Journalists Award. The Senate convenes as an impeachment court for the trial of Vice President Sara Duterte Monday, May 18. This amid rumors of yet another Senate leadership shakeup. This comes days after the shooting incident inside the Senate and Senator Bato de la Rosa's subsequent escape from the premises. Senate President Alan Peter Cayetano takes his oath as presiding officer before swearing in the senator judges. The Senate impeachment court gives Duterte 10 days to submit her additional pleadings in light of her impeachment proceedings at the lower chamber. The prosecutors from the House of Representatives are given 5 days to reply. The impeachment case centers on allegations involving misuse of confidential funds, unexplained wealth, bribery, and alleged threats against President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and his family. Although no power grab materialized, separate meetings are held before Monday's session, fueling speculation of efforts to unseat Cayetano. During the session, Senators Mig Zubiri and JB Ejercito say they are joining the minority led by Senator Tito Soto. The two abstained in last week's vote that gave Cayetano the leadership. New chairpersons are assigned to some committees following Cayetano's takeover. The Office of the Solicitor General asks the Supreme Court to reject Senator Bato de la Rosa's plea to block the International Criminal Court's arrest warrant against him. The OSG argues the senator's actions are consistent with those of a fugitive from justice. It says the essence of fugitive behavior is not limited to crossing national borders but extends to any deliberate effort to place oneself beyond the reach of lawful judicial process. The OSG says the fugitive disentitlement doctrine also applies to De La Rosa's case, wherein fugitives may not seek relief from the judicial system whose authority they evade. The ICC confirmed May 11 it issued an arrest warrant against De La Rosa for his role in the extrajudicial killings in the war on drugs. The OSG also says the enforcement of the ICC warrant does not require a separate warrant from a Philippine court pursuant to Republic Act 9851. De La Rosa was under the protective custody of newly elected Senate President Alan Peter Cayetano. De La Rosa left the premises early May 14 after a gunfire incident the night before. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. chooses former assistant professor of the University of the Philippines, Diliman, Kim Robert De Leon, as his new budget chief. De Leon is a former budget department executive and taught at UPD's National College of Public Administration and Governance. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro confirms his appointment and notes De Leon is the youngest member of the Marcos cabinet. De Leon is set to take his oath Tuesday, May 19. He once served as the Budget Department's Undersecretary for Organization and Systems Improvement and Information and Communications Technology Groups. De Leon also used to be Undersecretary for Administration and Finance of the Department of Transportation. He will take over the DBM that has been headed by Interim Chief Undersecretary Rolando Toledo since November 2025. US President Donald Trump says Chinese President Xi Jinping has agreed Tehran must reopen the Strait of Hormuz, but China gave no indication it would weigh in. After the 2 days of talks with Xi, Trump also says he was considering whether to lift US sanctions on Chinese oil companies buying Iranian oil. China is the biggest buyer of Iranian oil. When asked whether Xi had made a firm commitment to put pressure on the Iranians to reopen the strait, Trump says, quote, "I'm not asking for any favors because when you ask for favors, you have to do favors in return." Xi also did not comment on his discussions with Trump about Iran. But China's foreign ministry criticized the war, calling it a conflict which should never have happened and has no reason to continue. Jailed journalist Frenchie Cumpio wins the Annenberg Justice for Women Journalists Award from the International Women's Media Foundation. The Tacloban-based journalist was sentenced to 12 to 18 years in prison for a terrorism financing case in January 2026. The foundation writes, each year the Annenberg Justice for Women Journalists Award brings attention to women journalists who are detained, jailed, or imprisoned. Cumpio expresses her gratitude for the award but says she would give a greater salute to everyone who continued to believe in truth and justice. And that's today's wrap. I'm JC Gotinga. Thank you for watching. click the link below for the full story. For more updates, download the wRap app.